Welcome back to Me versus Me. I'm Patrick Kinzonzi.
I'm Herman Madimba.
Yes, and just want to say hello, good morning, good evening, good night, depending on which side of the world you are joining us from. So, how have you been, by the way?
Good, great.
Yeah, great.
January is dragging too long.
It's dragging too long. So, Happy New Year to
Happy New
everyone
Year,
out there.
everybody.
Happy New Year. So, we're still continuing on our series on breaking cycles, and today we're specifically going to be speaking about procrastination. Yeah, procrastination, which is the common enemy, and at times I think we've become guilty of making it a common friend, where we've adjusted to it for so long that we think that it's normal to just procrastinate, or at times we're even procrastinating without actually knowing that we are procrastinating.
Yeah.
So we just want to highlight as to some of the reasons as to why these things happen, the dangers of procrastination, which is pretty obvious to a certain degree, but then most of all, how do we break out of procrastination? What's the reason behind it? Are the reasons justified? Is there a sort of fear behind achieving what it is you want to achieve, or is there a level of overconfidence where you feel like you can achieve something at your own time when you feel like you want to do it?
Yeah.
So procrastination is real. Many people are affected by it. How do we break out from it? So what do you think some of the main reasons are as to why, as people, we procrastinate regardless of how great and gifted we are?
I think speaking from my personal experience,
Right.
the times where procrastination used to affect me a lot,
Right.
it's always been the areas where I've been insecure.
Right.
Even though I know that I can do something, I can do the thing, the
Right.
task,
Yeah.
but because of insecurity,
Yeah.
because that's the thing sometimes when God speaks like greatness upon you, you get the revelation, the words, you believe it,
Right.
you know, but then when it's time to actually doing it, when it's time to actually act upon it,
Yes.
at times it's like, oof, deep down. You don't say it out. You don't even say it to people,
Yeah.
but deep down it's like, okay, can I really do this? Okay, let me just keep quiet. Maybe it's gonna happen by chance. You know, from personal experience, that's always been with me. Whenever
Yes.
procrastination has hit me, so it's been because of really insecurity
Right.
and fear. I mean, I remember years ago, I was telling one sister at church where I used to be. January started just like that. I told her that, oh, listen, I think some of the things have been prophesied here. Should we take 6 months to pray on those things? The first 6 months of the year, I was like, let's break the demons for the first 6 months of the year. She was like, yeah, okay, let's do that. And then we will act the next 6 months. All that was insecure talk, really.
Right.
All that was, I don't really believe these things are going to happen.
Right.
And more likely to do with fear, you know. I think is linked to fear a lot because, I mean, what is procrastination? Just delaying a task.
Right.
Delaying a task, delaying a task. Obviously, there's the other side where you could say, like you said, that maybe someone can be too arrogant and that can cause procrastination. But I think a lot of the time it's just, it comes from insecurity or fear. And the more that creeps in, suddenly you become lazy without even knowing it, you know. And it just wasn't that you talk, yes, I'm going to do it. Yes, I am. Yes, I will. But the key is doing it. That's the thing about procrastination. The way to beat it is just, listen, it's by getting up and doing it, you know, because when you procrastinate, what happens is that every day now there's an excuse. To give excuses becomes very easy. It's easy not to dish out excuses, you know. Jesus, our leader that we follow, he was about his father's business. He had a deadline, 3 years.
Right.
He had a deadline, 3 years. Yes, fully God, fully man. He became as a man. Okay, I have 3 years to do the task. No matter the opposition, I have what? I have 3 years.
3 years. Yeah.
So he was about his father's business. He didn't wait for the conditions to be right. He knew the opposition he was going to face.
Right.
You and I know that. You and I know the oppositions that that we're gonna face. We know there's opposition to procrastination. And there's even a scripture as Ecclesiastes 11 verse 4.
Right.
It says that he who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap.
Yeah.
So if you're always waiting for the conditions to be right, are you going to jump in?
Right.
Like I said, I've fallen victim of that, and that's something with procrastination. You want everything to be right. You want to grab onto any excuse, but the truth is, it's just a case of doing it. It's just a case of doing it because you know exactly what you need to do. You know what's been spoken over you.
Yeah.
Or sometimes if you don't know what to do, then seek the advice, seek the wisdom. Don't use that as an excuse to shut yourself in.
Right.
Because it's a bad thing, procrastination. It's a bad spirit, man. When it creeps on you, it's very hard to let go.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned insecurities.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned overconfidence as well. So, by using your own personal experiences or other people's situations that you've seen before, we're gonna start off with insecurities. How may one's insecurities give birth to procrastination? Because that deals with what I mentioned earlier, subtle fear. Or sometimes it's an internal fear. It's not subtle. You're very conscious of the fact that you fear something or an insecurity. Okay, let's start off with confidence or being overconfident. I'm going to use my example of a personal experience that happened with me. I was actually speaking about this, I think last week. So in my young days, school days, I was always very good at art. So that was one of my favorite subjects in school, and I chose it as a GCSE. So always good at arts. And then I remember during my exams, it was a 15-hour exam. That's what we had. My teacher was Miss Myers, Carol Myers. I used to clash with her all the time. So because of my ability to be good at art, be able to draw, I felt like I knew what I was doing. I'm doing things my way and at my own pace as well. Bearing in mind, it's 15 minutes. That's all you have. Not 15 minutes. 15 hours of the exams. So you have to break that down into lessons. So we had one single lesson during the week and a double lesson. So it was 3 hours per week. So it was basically going to be over a 5-week period that was going to have this exam for. We had to start off by doing our prep work, which was only to like 40% of the mark.
Yeah.
Our final piece was going to be 60% of the mark. So I'm doing my work, taking my time. So I decided to do an art form called pointillism, which is basically where you draw with dots, no coloring in, but everything that you do is in dots. It was a big A3 piece of a basketball game. They're probably thinking, oh, here we go, basketball again. Yes, basketball game, basketball players, stadium, and the crowd on an A3 piece of work, which was all done with dots. So that's time consuming. So I've started doing that. My teacher was always getting on my case. Patrick, have you done your prep work? No, I haven't. Every lesson, have you done your prep work? And this was before the exam started, because the prep work was meant to have been done before the exam started. Yeah. The 5 weeks that you get is to focus on your final piece. So the prep work was basically like coursework towards your final project.
That's right.
I hadn't done it yet. So we're coming over to the 5-week period now. I still haven't done it. And I was starting my piece, doing it in dots. 1 week, number 2 now. And I've only got maybe like one corner of it done. She looks, she's like, you're not going to be able to finish this on time. And you have done your prep work. You'll be lucky to get a D. I remember telling her prior to that before, like, you have a miss. Oh, after that, I told her, you have a miss, I can draw better than you, though. And the whole class was like, ooh. So she just decided, you know what? This kid must think he knows it all. So she left me to it. So I wasn't really respecting her role as a teacher. Whether you're better at painting, drawing or whatnot, the teacher's still the teacher. They're in that job, they've been employed, they get paid for it, so they know something that you don't. They can teach you something. It got to a point now where it's week number 4 and not even half of the piece is done yet. So I realized that I'm not going to finish this on time. And I have done my prep work. So by this time, the teacher is not making a single comment to me anymore. And I could tell, like, he's probably thinking, well, I told you so. So what I decided to do was, okay, I cheated on my exams. When she won't be looking, I would take my work home. When I'm at home, I start doing the rest. Staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll come back and she'll look and she'll be like, oh, it's making progress. I'm like, thank you, miss. But if only she knew. Take it home. Do some more. Bring it back. And then finally it's coming apart, and then she's come back and she goes, wow, that looks amazing. So rather than me being humble, in my head I was thinking, see,
yeah, of course, yeah,
I'm good enough. I'm telling you, it's a gift.
Yeah.
Art is a gift to me.
It's a gift, yeah.
Finally, it was done. And she was like, you know what, this is amazing. She'll come back and praise my work. She'll come back and be telling me that she's told other people about it. She's told other people about me as a student. So remember, what's it called?
Overconfident.
The prep work.
The prep work, yeah.
Still hasn't been done yet.
Still
40%.
hasn't been done, yeah.
Exam time's finished now. Now I start doing my prep work. When everything's been sent over to the exams, now I'm doing my prep work. I'm doing my prep work. So she's looking at me thinking, Patrick, this was meant to have been done over 4 weeks ago. 8 weeks ago to be precise.
Wow.
I was just like, let me just do it. So the prep work was good. So my prep work to a certain degree was looking a little bit better. Not better than my art piece, but the technique that I was using was improving that, because I did it first on my final piece, and now I'm doing it on my prep work, as well as other art forms. Yeah. So it's looking good. I end up getting an A star, just strictly based on my final piece. However, the teacher gave me an instruction. Not just me, the whole class. Prep work first.
Prep work first, yeah.
Prep means what? To prepare. It's what you do at the beginning.
Yeah.
Prep work. And then final piece. Final piece means what? You do it at the end. What did I do? I reversed the order.
Yeah.
Why? Because I felt like I'm gifted enough. So overconfidence caused me to procrastinate on something. Now you're probably thinking, well, but you got an A star, which is the highest of the highest grades that you can get. But what that did was, that attitude filtered into all areas of my life. Procrastination. Because of my talent, because of my ability. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
Get here at this time. Yeah, I'll punctuality affected. Basketball, same thing. Yeah, come to practice, come to training. Yeah, I'll skip or miss a few. What? Procrastination. Yeah. It's really a principle, believe it or not. And it guarantees results, whether negative or positive. So if you meet the requirements when you're supposed to do it, that's operated by a principle. And principles always guarantees results. Every single time. Without that, principles always guarantee results. When you procrastinate, you may not see the effect straight away, but it will come back to bite you on the long run. And by the time you realize that you've gotten a lot older, and now you've seen all these nasty and bad habits that you've developed because of it. So I've been very much guilty of that, to the point where I'm still working on it and having to fight it today. So being talented and being overconfident, feeling like, yes, I know how to do it. And sometimes as well, you may reject help without even knowing it. Because what I did with my school teacher was that I rejected her help. I rejected what she was assigned to do for me at that particular time, which is to teach. So I rejected it because why? I'm talented in this area. I want to do things my way. I want to control the narrative. I want to control how this thing goes. But however, there are certain structures that these things are built on. And if you don't oblige by that, you are procrastinating. So I believe that there's times when we do it without actually knowing that we're doing it, and there are times when we realize that we're procrastinating as well. Insecurities does play a part, but overconfidence as well can play a part as well.
Very true. No. I mean, it is so true. It is so true. It's a good thing. We both gave different opposite examples. Right. I gave insecurity, fear. You gave overconfidence. You know, so that just goes to show, like that it really covers both sides. Right. You know. And just like you rightly said, before you know it, it invades you like a virus, and it invades the rest of your life like a virus, you know. That's what procrastination does. And we have to understand that every single one of us, like, greatness has been put in us, whether we want to believe it or not. greatness has been put in us. But the sooner we believe it, the quicker we believe it, the better for us to believe it, you know. And the most important thing to believe is that it's me that is responsible to bring out that greatness. Because what does he do when you bring out greatness? He improves you as a person, as an individual. He boosts your self-confidence, you know. When he begins to comment and people praise you, there's results now. You know, people begin to place a demand on your gift, no matter how long it, whether it's just one person or two person, and then all of a sudden word gets about. And also it's got a potential to improve your quality of life as well.
Right.
You know, and it teaches you discipline as well. That okay, then something good is actually coming out of me. You know, and most of the time also the fear or the insecurity side of it can come also from maybe the environment. You know, sometimes you can be like, well, I don't know, nobody has really made it big in my family before,
right.
Or you know, that kind of talk. I didn't grow up around that kind of talk, you know.
Which actually links to what we was talking about.
Yes.
On my last segment as well, like my environment being a product of that.
Yeah. So that can happen. Well, you know, no, what's it called? The life words were spoken into me by my parents or whoever raised me. It was always go to school or you're going to be dumb. Go to school, you're going to be dumb. So these are the kind of things that maybe some of us we heard. So all of a sudden, when we break out of, when we grow up, you know, we begin to go to church, pray, listen to the word of God. But yet, that talk still coming from the environment. But yet, when you read your word, it tells you, look, this is how it's supposed to be, and God Himself gives you revelation. So He's like, okay, then is this really true, God, or is it just you know? So sometimes it's hard to kind of like, some of us we have to marry what God says about us and let us sink into our spirit. But at the same time, you have to shut down that voice, because that voice has been there with you for your whole life. That negative voice, it's not something that will just disappear like that, but it has to disappear, you know, because what God has put in us is greater than what words have been spoken into us.
Right.
But those things still need to be broken, because those words that have been spoken into us, or those words that we have spoken into ourselves, because it's happened for a long time, it's settled in us. So it still needs to be broken.
Yeah.
You know, it still needs to be broken, but it will take a decision to break it. You know, and what is ahead of you? What is waiting for you when you decide to listen? I'm going to take procrastination. What is waiting for you? Your best life is waiting for you. You know, more opportunities, more open doors.
Yeah.
And at least you could say, okay, then I've given life a go. There's an interesting Proverbs. I think most of us know it. Proverbs chapter 6. Proverbs chapter 6 verse 6. He says, "What? Go to the ant, you sluggard." He says, it tells to observe the ant. You know, ant. And he said, "What? Consider her ways and be wise." She says she doesn't have any chief or ruler, but in the summer she prepares her bread and gathers her food in harvest. And then it says, "How long will you lie there, oh you sluggard?" Sluggard is someone that's lazy, basically. "When will you arise from your sleep?" And it says what? "A little sleep, a little slumber, a little falling of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you like a robber, and want like an armed man." This is how procrastination comes. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the arms. Before you know, boom, poverty has got you.
Right.
You know, so that's how he attacks you. You keep thinking, "No, I don't want to do it." But look what the Bible is telling us. Look at the ant. Look how hard the ant works.
Right.
So that she will not starve when the season changes. She gathers her food. He said, "Consider her ways and be wise." Nobody tells the ant what to do. The ant knows that, oh, I have to do this, otherwise I will not die. Otherwise I will die, when the next season will come. So this is how we have to see our lives as well. You know, the next 5 years, what am I going to do? Today, tomorrow, what am I going to do? You know, I'm going to enter into marriage. Can I enter into marriage procrastinating? Can that attitude make me a father, a husband, a wife? And if you know that the answer is no, then my friend, you know, procrastination is not going to make you a winner. That's the thing. It's only going to take us down.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I'm glad you're honest. And you said that you're still battling in some areas.
Right.
Like most of us are. I know some will be like, nah, because you post on Instagram, everything about you is fine. You wear a suit, everything about you. You start posting 10 steps to success just because you're wearing a suit or a nice dress. This is the best way to do it. No. Be honest also about some of the things that are fighting you. You know, so I'm glad that you said it, you know, and it's affected, me too, I'm still battling in some areas as well. because a lot of the things we've grown with it. We've spoken into ourselves, or it's been spoken into us. So some of these habits, we have to fight. We have to fight to break it. But you must come to a decision that, what, I'll do procrastinate in that area. You must come to a decision and then decide. Not just be like, whatever. Decide. You know what? No. I've been too lazy in this area. I need to change. When you say that, then everything changes. Because now you look at things different now. Yeah.
So that with me, definitely, my procrastination has been in terms of like the foundational work of things, the groundwork of things, not the glittery. So the foundational stuff, that's not fun. The foundational stuff that's not attractive. The foundational stuff that doesn't make you get up early in the morning, excited to do it. Yeah, just like that. So as I mentioned before, the prep work, mentally it didn't sound exciting because I knew what my final piece in art was going to look like. So that's what was getting me excited to do the art exam. But the foundations, the boring stuff, admin stuff, paperwork, which really and truly is the most important part.
Stuff,
it's the foundation that holds everything together. So what happens is you'll do a lot of great stuff, but then at times you'll find yourself taking 3 steps back. 7 steps forward.
Yes, that's right.
6 steps back.
That's right.
15 steps forward. 17 steps back at times. And that can build to frustration, to the point where you even start to say to yourself, what's the point of me even doing this? Even greater frustration if you see how gifted and talented you are at certain things. But then you see other people, and this is not to try and make myself seem like I'm better than anyone, but you see other people achieving greatness. But you can do 8 times better than them. You're better than them at what they're doing. They're doing something similar to you. And you look at what they're doing and you're like, if I was doing this, I'll be doing it much better.
Much better, yeah.
However, they're making more progress than you are. I mean, when people say, okay, well, good luck, I would say, no, I don't believe in luck. There's reasons as to why things happen.
All this luck stuff.
And there's reasons as to why things do not happen.
Yeah.
Nothing is a coincidence. The simple fact is there are some people out there who operate on principle. They know the importance of laying down the groundwork, of doing the admin stuff, putting business plans together, putting the right structure behind what they're actually trying to do. So even though they may have a slower start than you, but what happens is longevity becomes a part of their lifestyle and everything that they do.
Yeah.
So they approach life, each area of life, the exact same way. Everything that they do, whether it's how they treat their family, friends, business meetings, they approach life the same way, and that's why they are effective in everything that they do, pretty much. You take people like you have David Beckham, and you have Ronaldinho. Now, we know who was the better player.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
One is way more skillful than the other. Natural talent. Whereas one had to develop a skill. We know who was who. We know who had the natural talent.
Yeah.
Who was gifted with natural talent, and we know who had to work on their skill. Yeah. But if you look at the end of their careers, even take R9 Ronaldo, gifted with talents. Not saying that he didn't work and didn't train, gifted talent, but David Beckham had to work on his skill.
Longevity.
However, there's one particular area that he really focused on the most, and we know what that is. It was his long balls, the curves,
that
long
free
balls,
kick ability,
that free kick ability. I can't name too many people who did it better than him. And to be a matter of fact, long distance free kick, long balls, who was better than David Beckham?
Yeah, he was a master at it.
He was a master at it.
Really.
Yeah. From long distance, he'll kick it, and he knows that Andy Cole's gonna come and he's gonna hit Andy Cole. Like he was a master at that. Yeah. He became marketable because there was something that he was good at.
Yeah.
Different organizations came and wanted him to be the face of their product. Why? Because there's a certain skill that he developed which was attractive and effective, which operated on the groundwork, the principle. So they're getting up and training, getting there before everyone else, being there with everyone else, and staying there while everyone else is gone. This is someone who's not procrastinating, who knows that I need to get up early to do this. And sometimes, hear this, when you see people who are more gifted than you, more talented than you, and gone ahead of you, you can use that as motivation.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, they're better than me. Okay, so I need to do something in order to be effective. By just trying to do what they're doing right now, it's not going to work. So what do I need to do? I need to put in the groundwork. The steps might be slow, but each step is a solid foundation. Ronaldinho's career, the end of his career. David Beckham, the end of his career. Who looked better? Who looked healthier? Who looked healthier? David Beckham looked healthier. David Beckham is still marketable in terms of his appearance and everything. Why? Because in terms of longevity, he didn't procrastinate and surfing. Where these other guys felt like, okay, well, I could go and start drinking alcohol, I could eat any kind of way. I'm naturally gifted and talented. Look at the awards that I've won. Look at how good I am. I'm the best in my league. I'm the best in my team. Look at how I entertain the crowd. Yeah. So the glittery stuff versus the foundational stuff. So talents, if talent becomes the primary focus point, we lose automatically. Because there will be a crack in the foundation that we totally ignore.
Of course.
And that just makes the whole building fall apart. We can keep building on it, it will fall. We'll build, it will fall, we'll build, it will fall. And the dangerous thing about that is that the more you do something and people see it, that's what you become known for. You become known for that. You become known for the one who talks a good game, but he doesn't last long. Yeah, he comes back from a new project, and the project collapses. He goes 100 miles, then he goes back 150 miles. You become known for that. So they will see how great your product is, but they know that long run, now it doesn't last. Let me go and find someone else whose product isn't as good, but it's consistent. It stays for a while. It lasts longer. So let me go with that instead. And that's the bottom line of it. If the groundwork is not done, the project will not survive. So we owe it to ourselves to be the best version of ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to create the best project that's actually inside us, because that project isn't for us. But it's for people around us who actually need it. So by failing ourselves, we actually fail people by doing so. So with me, definitely, that's a focal point that I definitely need to work on, because when you're overconfident,
it's true.
You blind yourself.
I
to what's really important.
I mean, what you said about the groundwork there is true. If you look at Yeshua again, he did the groundwork every night by spending time with the Father.
Yes.
That's his time to pray, because he knows that by the time sunrise, the moment he comes off that mountain or wherever he was spending the night, people are going to pull on his gift. So he knew that the groundwork is, hey, I need to pray at night. So when you come out there, what will you do? You wouldn't pray much. You will commend. Why? Because in the night he did it.
He did the work.
He saw it already. He saw Lazarus rose. He saw the lame walk already. So when it's time for him not to demonstrate the gift, boom, out, get out, come out, rise, boom. He was just commending. He didn't just start like that. He did the groundwork at night. When it was time to raise Lazarus from the dead, even he prayed that prayer, he said, well, I thank you that you always hear me. So it's never for me, it's for those guys. It's for you guys. So
it's not for me, but so they can see.
So he didn't even need to do none of that, you know. And then he did what he normally does. Lazarus, come out. That's why he should have started normally, but he said, well, for your sake, I want them to know that you hear me. So he did, because the groundwork was done. That's why the disciples couldn't keep up with him. He would question them. But why would he question them? Because how long have I been with you? Why would he do that? That means that he expected them.
Yes.
He expected them
already. I've been teaching you the stuff.
He so that and that is God. He has high expectations of us.
Oh yeah. I say that again. He has
high expectation of us. For us. God, imagine in a storm, Patrick. He's thinking, no, you lot should have quietened the storm. But they're thinking, but we your students do. Basically, you lot should have quietened that storm. Moreover, I'm there also. So I expect you guys to do it. He said, how long have I been with you? That statement there, he says a lot about how God sees us. You know, are you not supposed to be observing me? So you also do the groundwork the way I'm doing the groundwork. It's not pretty, you know. The man hardly slept. You know, but again, he had a deadline, 3 years. He had to hurry up and finish his assignment.
Right.
And that's how we have to look at it. God has high expectations of us, no matter where you find yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so if you still back in procrastination, laziness, like just give it to Him.
Yeah.
You know, and also have that picture that He has of you.
Yeah.
What picture do you keep to get to that goal? And for me, that is the game changer. For me, that was the game changer.
Yeah.
When I began to take in the things that God has showed me,
Yeah.
and begin to visualize it and
Yeah.
prophesy it and speak it. Hey, I'm not talking about some of these new age stuff. Yeah, guys, I'm talking about using the word of God.
Yeah.
You know, but Bible talks about faith comes by hearing the word of God.
Right,
Faith
exactly.
paints a picture.
Yeah.
Faith paints a picture.
Yeah.
We know how we talk about how a picture speaks 1,000 words. It's the same with us. Why do you think that some of us, when we have certain dreams, we panic already, we don't know what to do because of the image that we saw? We are frightened by that picture. So he's speaking 1,000 words of fear. But God is telling us the other way. So you see, even all this new age stuff and all those things, where do you think they copy it from, by the way?
Yeah, the principles.
Where do you think they copy it from?
Yeah.
Why do you think they copy it from? And then they add the only little techniques. Oh, use tones. You usually speak words in the atmosphere, words of affirmation in the universe, and all those things. Where do you think they get it from? You know, we are taught to speak life. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. We are taught to do that. Where do you think they get all these things from? And they're doing better than they're stealing, and they do better than most Christians. You know, so we have to understand that we are on the good side. You know, so we have to there's a scripture, is it Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1, arise and shine for your light has come.
Right.
We all know that scripture. Read that scripture in the Amplified. It says, arise from the negative circumstances from which life has kept you, and then rise and shine to a new life. So that means that it's a decision that we have to make. It's a decision. It's not, oh, let me just pray. No. Before you pray, decide. That's how I love to tell people nowadays. Listen, understand prayer before you enter into prayer. Otherwise, you just, just read your word before you enter into prayer.
Yeah, you just
don't
use it.
Listen. Don't be shooting bullets anyhow, because God expects precision.
Yeah.
Remember, He has high expectation of us. Don't be like, oh well, He will understand because last time I did it, it worked. No. He gave you something by grace, yeah, but to be consistent, understand it.
Yeah.
He's telling us arise from negative circumstances for which life you yourself decide to arise. You because the situation is negative already, so you make up your mind. Listen, I must do this. You know, when Jesus was in the garden saying, "Our Father, if His possible, let this cup pass away," and then he went to have got the disciples. Couldn't you get up with me 1 hour? He went again; they were still sleeping. After that, what did He say? Do you know what? Let's rise. It's time now. Let's arise. Let's go now. It's time for the Solomon to be delivered. Listen, I'm decided to go now. I'm not going to think about, oh, take this cup away. You guys are lazy. No, let's go now. So you have to make that decision.
Right.
Make that decision. That's the most important. Make that decision, because you've already seen the picture that God has shown you in the revelation, in the dreams, or when you read your word. You know, so all those things is us. It's up to us, because the word has given us so many things, but we letting different how do I call it, different movements now come in and steal from us. And now you are saying, well, oh, this is demonic, that is demonic. Yeah, true, fine. But remember, they stole the main principles from us and they just switched it. That's all. They changed it to, or meditate to some mountain, meditate to the universe, speak to the universe. But most of the things they stole it from us. And at times, they even use biblical scriptures, by the way. They'll say, oh, the Bible says, ask and it shall be given. They twist it. I've seen some of them before. So ask the universe, and that's what I'll tell you. Oh, ask the universe. The universe will give you what you deserve. But they're stealing from the Bible, and they're doing it diligently, and they're getting results. How much more us that our source is pure, So procrastination is an enemy. It's an enemy of God, and it should be our enemy as well. So yeah, it can be defeated, but it starts with a decision.
Right.
That I need to do better. It always starts with a decision. Always starts with a decision. That's what I would say.
My main thing is, do you believe that the same principles apply to everyone in order to get them to come out of procrastination, or does it depend on the person?
Do I think it applies to everyone?
Yeah. Same tactics or strategies?
Yeah. I think to come as a decision, and you have to make it. So yeah, that one, yeah. Just for that decision, yeah, I think it applies to everybody. It applies to everybody, And again, if you find yourself too weak or whatever, then speak to somebody or read find that. Listen, we have the internet now. Like, just tap Google, okay, how to come up procrastination, and see why it's out there. If you want to be on the safe side, just scriptures on procrastination or sermons on procrastination. Just use it to motivate you. Sometimes just keep quiet and let something speak to you. And then based on that, you're like, well, actually, that's entered my spirit. I need to step out. But it starts with you even making that investigation. Because when you procrastinate, everything about you becomes flat. Even things like doing job search becomes difficult. I've been through that when I was fighting my passport case. When the passport finally came now, it's time to look for courses and jobs. I was like, oh, this was new to me because I've been in it for a long time. So I'll go on Google, courses, job. I'm like, oh, this is okay. Do you know what? Let me do it tomorrow. But all that was because I'm not used to it. You see, as somebody that comes out of prison for a long time now, and he gets given these phones. Maybe they get thrown in prison before they come. Okay, this is how you use it for you to get jobs, for you to do this. But when they come, it's like, this is too much for me, man. Let me just leave it. Let me just leave it. All this technology, let me just leave it. But they don't want to learn.
Right.
Even though they're still young enough to learn, they don't want to learn because I've been in the prison system. I don't care about these things. But this is to make them better. Use it to your advantage. Before you know it, they're back doing the criminal activity. So again, it's up to us. We have the tools available. Right. So yeah, everybody, you got to make that decision to come out because it's not nice. And like you rightly said, if you keep talking a good game, especially when you are talking a good game as well, and then you don't see the result, they see you start but they don't see the result, you're gonna get known for that. You're going to become known for that. He starts but he doesn't finish. He starts but he doesn't finish. She starts but he doesn't finish. You just talk. So sometimes you just got to withdraw yourself from everybody and just look at yourself in the mirror and be like, listen, I'm not doing okay. I'm not doing okay. And that's how the great become great, Whatever failed, they've been rejected before. They talked down on themselves before, but they had that burning desire that, no. No, I got to do it. I mean, they're human beings like us, How do you think all these cameras were founded? Apple's, Google, internet, they have brains like us. They decided that, listen, no way. I'm going to do it. Look at how was Amazon founded. You know what I'm saying? Amazon, you never even see a shop Amazon, but we are all on the internet. It gets delivered to us. These are human beings like us, And some of them, they started even after they were 40, 45 because they spent their lifetime failing. Yeah. But guess what, though? They went back again. They spent their time failing, but they went back again. Yeah.
So is it actually failing or is it learning?
Yeah, thank you.
Because
that's a great point.
One word that stood out for me the whole of last year was perspective. Looking at things from the right perspective. Is failure, or is it a lesson that you learned?
It's a lesson, definitely.
I learned that by, for example, you're doing a test and it's a multiple answer question where you have to pick one. Do you know that by choosing the wrong answer, it then shows you what the right answer was?
Simple.
Yeah. So how do you look at it? Do you look at it as like, oh, I failed, or do you look at it as, okay, this is the correct answer?
Exactly.
So when you counter that question again, what happens? You now know the right answer.
You know what's wrong.
You know what's wrong. You know what's right.
Yeah.
By which experience? The experience that you had from getting the wrong answer. So did you fail? Or did you learn from that experience?
You learned because you're going again.
So that's how we need to actually treat life.
Exactly.
Moving at the right pace. Like time plays a major factor as well. So I'm going to get to time in a short while. So I just wanted us to go through some brief versions of different types of procrastinations that people do. Yeah. We might just touch on one of them before we wrap up. One, wanting to control everything. When you become a bit of a control freak, that's okay. Yeah, I can do this. Not knowing how to delegate with people if you're working in a group. Now, I understand sometimes you can have a group and it can just drag you down to the point where if you work by yourself, you'll get things done a lot quicker and more effectively.
Yeah.
And meet the deadline. I know that. I've experienced that myself. However, you can't do that forever. Especially if you're growing as an individual. And if you're growing, then that means that everything that you're doing, your projects, is growing as well. So if you're wanting to control everything, that can lead to procrastination, because what will happen is you'll try to control time as well, because you're controlling when you are going to do it, how you are going to do it, sometimes being offered assistance as well. You may say, yeah, I'll think about it. I'm just doing it this particular type of way. I've been guilty of that myself as well, where because I know I can do this, that, and the other, I may not necessarily listen to what someone's trying to tell me. I spoke to you about the example about the teacher, and it's happening in other ways as well, where I feel like I don't need something right now because I know how to do it. Not knowing that sometimes that assistance is giving you an extra boost towards you achieving that goal. When you're on the outside looking in, I believe that you do see things from a better perspective. Now, it is important to be in a situation, experience and look at it, but it's a lot harder to see things clearly when you're actually in a situation and working on something. So someone that's on the outside will be able to see where you lack and where you need assistance.
True.
Yeah.
True.
So they can come in and say, you know what, Patrick, have you thought about doing things this way? Have you thought about adding this? What do you think about adding this? But when you're so caught up in everything you're trying to do and you want to control everything, your response, your verbal response rather, would be a reaction by saying, yeah, thank you, but I've got this. Yeah, why? Because you want to control everything. So you program yourself where you become like a machine. So that becomes like an automatic response to say, thank you, but I've already. Thank you, but I've already. Yeah. So you want to control everything.
It's true. It's true.
Seeing a task as one big project. So as opposed to a project has different tasks, which makes the project. Sometimes we see one task as a big project.
Yes.
So automatically it's like, oh, big project, man. I'll get to it later. Because you see it as a big project as opposed to just, let me just tackle this. And by tackling that one task, you're one step closer to accomplishing the project. So that's one of the reasons why we procrastinate as well. Another one is being a perfectionist.
Ooh, yeah.
This one. Being a perfectionist. Now, I'll hold my hands up. It don't look right. It's missing something. Okay, I'll proceed with it once I know how it's going. No, not right now. It don't. I believe in doing things to the best of your abilities. Don't get me wrong. I don't believe in doing things half-hearted because I've written material half-hearted and I've read it afterwards. I'm like, I ain't using this.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Even if you're cooking half-hearted and someone tastes it, they'll be able to see that they didn't put their all into this. However, there's got to be a balance. Perform give your best, the best of your ability, but being a perfectionist sometimes can come back and haunt you and bite you on the backside.
So true.
Yeah. That can go procrastination. Nah, it's not how I want it to be. No, not yet. This blue ain't the right blue. I think maybe. So what happens is you'll do something and then you add more changes.
Exactly.
You add more changes and you're constantly seeing faults.
Faults all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Constantly seeing faults all the time. I remember there was an interview with Snoop Dogg back in 2000 and maybe 11, but they asked him about Dr. Dre, what's happening with the Detox album, and he's like, Dr. Dre is a perfectionist, so until it's right and sounds right to his ear, he's not going to release it. And people at radio station saying, yeah, I'm sure it's great. He's like, no, it's not great. According to Dr. Dre's standard, it's not great.
Yeah, that's a
now,
big
Detox was spoken about back in 2002. I got my little cousin Dylan that was born in 2002, and my niece Magnolia that was born in 2002. They're going to be 20 years old this year. Dr. Dre's last album was in 1999. The year I met you. 23 years ago. Was that project. It was great. His project before that, The Chronic in 1992. It was great. 5 out of 5 stars. Great. The follow-up, 5 out of 5 stars. Great. But since then, nada. So 23 years, people have been waiting for something to come out. Yeah, the danger of being a perfectionist. So
that's mad.
Although he's working, what happens is when you start to work and you do work and that, you're listening a lot less to people that you listen to. Why? Because you created such a great legacy in terms of bringing out Snoop Doggy Dogg, helping him. In his follow-up, the Doggy Style album, classic. his work, classic, when he produces for people, the outcome is always great. So when everything that you touch it becomes great, one of the dangers is believing in your own hype. Yeah, there's a difference between hype and natural ability.
Yes.
Hype is when people hype you up, what you're hearing people say about yourself. When you start to believe in that, as opposed to believing in your true identity, the true person that you actually are, you'll fall off. You'll stop listening to people. And what happens there is that humility becomes a thing of the past.
Yeah.
If it doesn't sound anything like what you thought of, it's like, no, you're wrong. An expertise could come with an expertise in a certain area. They will tell you something, you'll be like, no. Why? Because look how great my legacy is. Yeah, I know when it's perfect. Look at the last 2 projects I did. Look how well I took this artist from. Look, I took Eminem from this to one of the greats of all time. You know my name. Google me. Being a perfectionist. That can cause to procrastination as well.
So true.
Follow up. Worrying about failure. Yeah, but what if it fails? What if I don't make it? What if I get rejected? The truth is, there's only one way to find out.
That's it.
And that's by doing it.
Yeah. That's a lot of us are still stuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna run this race. No, maybe not. What if I don't come first?
Yeah.
What if he beats me in the race? There's only one way to find out.
Only one way to find out.
By running the race.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that feeling of regret of, what if no, you really don't want that.
That's one of the worst.
That's one of the worst ones, and it's very hard to recover from regrets. It's like trying to wake up straight away and jump out of bed from a serious hangover. It's very hard to recover from regrets. You think of all the possible outcomes, positive outcomes that could have happened. Like, maybe if I just ran, maybe I could have won. Maybe I could have won. Had I gotten the gold medal, I would have been able to achieve this, that, and the other. Don't worry about failure. Why are you worried about things that you cannot control at that particular moment? You can only have some form of control when you actually get in the race.
You get in the race, yeah.
When you prepare yourself for the race, that's you taking a form of control. Once I say go and that gun goes off and you start running, that's when you have a form of control in regards to the outcome.
Yeah.
But worrying about failure, no. I heard a great man say once that worrying is the most useless activity you can ever do.
Oh, yeah.
It can actually lead to stress and bad health.
A whole topic.
Yeah. It can really lead to that.
Yeah.
So when you worry about failure, what are you saying about yourself? What are you saying about your natural abilities? If you're gifted and you're talented, but you're worried about failure, what are you actually saying about you as a product?
There's a high chance I'm going to fail then.
As opposed to the product that you can potentially produce, that you're actually able to produce.
That thing is a killer, boy.
It's a killer. Next one, lacking self-control. Lacking self-control means it's a lack of discipline, really. And without discipline, you cannot overcome procrastination.
Yeah, a lot of us need that medicine, boy. Yeah. We need that medicine.
Sleeping patterns being put in check. Going to sleep at a decent hour in order to get sufficient rest, to get up in the morning and to be fresh. And once you're fresh, you're energetic. When you're energetic, you perform to the best of your ability. But if you want to stay up late at night, watch Netflix. Then after Netflix, watch something on Amazon Prime. After that, you're on your PS5. Then after that, you get hungry, go into the kitchen and grab a sandwich, and that. It's lack of self-control. Giving in to the desires of life, as opposed to disciplining yourself enough in order to participate in the needs of life. Yeah. So, next one is not making lists. I'm extremely guilty of this one. I have good memory. I remember events that happened. I remember dates. I remember years as well. So I've lived life like that a lot, where I'll remember, even including things that I need to do. I'll remember it. So diaries, never part of my life. I have one now, but I was pushed to get it. You need to have a diary. I had one last year, didn't use it at all. I got one like towards the end of last year. Like, okay, have a diary, start writing things in it, and what you see in it, stick to it. Make it a marriage, make it a commitment, and you'll see the difference. Is it something that I did straight away? No, but it's something that I'm working towards, and I'm actually seeing that this does make an impact.
That's good.
I can see how this will change my life and change the results of my life if I use this. Yeah, if I use it, because this is actually assisting me, it's holding me accountable. Why? Because whose handwriting is in there? Me, mine.
Sure.
So when I see that, it's you wrote this, Patrick. You said you was going to do this on this day. You said that, but within 3 weeks you were going to complete. You said it. Yeah? So that makes you accountable by doing so. Yeah. So
true.
Making this definitely helps. It helps you put structure into your life as well with everything that you're doing. Yeah. It helps you to prioritize as well. What's more important? Okay, this is more important. So when other distractions come into life, you will know what to say no to straight away. You'll know what phone calls to answer and what not to, or when to answer that phone call, or when to call that individual back. You'll know when to reply to certain messages depending on who it's from or what time it's coming in. Why? Because you made a list of what you need to do right now. I need to complete this, so there's certain things that I don't need in my space at this particular moment. No, I'm not arrogant. I just have something that I need to accomplish. I have something that I need to do right now. Yeah. So making a list always important. And by any point in time, feel free to jump in. 7, underestimating time commitments.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do that later.
That's the
another one that I'm guilty of as well, because
that's a
my punctuality was bad based on the fact that I felt like, okay, in school, okay, I'll come in late, but I understand the work. Yes, I'll do the work. Yes, I'll get good results in my coursework. Yes, I know I'm going to get good results in my exam. I remember my French exam in GCSEs. I was late, not on purpose. I woke up late, and I was about maybe 25 to 30 minutes late. I got up, but I kind of strolled into school because I knew that it was French exam.
Yeah, it's French, you know. Yeah,
I speak French fluently.
It's gonna be 5 minutes job,
and I finished before everyone else. My talent. My talent. I speak French.
So true.
I allowed it to get here. However, it came back to bite me years in life.
Time commitment is key. Time commitment is key. You know,
so if you're late, it means you've arrived at the wrong time. So by arriving at the wrong time, anything that you do at the wrong time can end up being the wrong thing that would have been right had you done it at the right time. So showing up late and then performing, it's almost like turning up after your show, the closing time. You decide to turn up then. It's like, no, the show's over now. You've been given a slot to perform at a certain time and you didn't respect that time. And then you come and then you're like, okay, no, curtains closed. It's the next act now.
No, it's true. I mean, you have to have respect for the timing as well, you know.
Respect.
Again, I'll go back again to Yeshua. He had 3 years. He had so much respect for his timing. He had respect for the Father's business. He didn't ask for extra time. He had respect for the time. Because he respected the assignment.
Right.
And I think that's the mindset we need to have. Respect the assignment that you've been given.
Right.
Respect the assignment, you know, and then you're gonna you eventually grow into respecting the time that you give to certain tasks that have to do with the assignment. So
definitely. Next one up is going to be relying on pressure.
6.
He's got to get out of here. Relying on pressure to finish work. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes when you're working under pressure, you end up producing great work. When your back's against the wall, you know that I have to.
I've done it so many times.
Pressure, then bam, and then you're like, wow, I did this. So what happens? The dangers of that is that can turn into a drug if you rely on that.
I'm not gonna lie.
If you rely on that, so that means that when you have time now,
exactly,
no pressure.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool, no pressure. But then you get an email from the CEO of the company. You need to do this. Let me start to perform. The danger is you become complacent, and that can lead to laziness as well.
Yes.
Things. We shouldn't have to wait for things to turn bad before we decide, okay, let me act now. Let me do this now. No, it shouldn't have to be like that. What we need to develop is a constant routine. Self-imposed restrictions, which is actually self-discipline, is what's going to get us there. I was watching something by I was on a Zoom on Saturday with a lady called Deborah. She made a statement and said, "What are you doing when no one's watching? When no one's watching, what are you doing? Rather than exercising, are you eating? Rather than getting up early in the morning and setting out your goals for the day, are you snoozing your alarm? What are you doing when no one's watching?" So it's about that. When no one's watching, when no one's on your case, what are you doing? So relying on pressure is only because you're being watched now, or you are in a do or die
that situation. You've got to get the work out.
Your job might be off the line, or etc. Or your contract might get terminated if you don't perform right now. So then that means that your intentions are wrong. The intentions behind what you're doing are wrong all the way. Your motive is wrong. Why? It's only because there's pressure now. So that applies to not just the task, but how you interact and engage with people. So you could be in a relationship. When you do the right thing towards that person, whether it's a business relationship, a relationship with your partner, friends, when you do what you're supposed to do, but you're only doing it because you are under pressure, is that even genuine? That's what you have to ask yourself. If you tell your partner, "I love you," but you only said it because you were under pressure, if I don't say it now, then so let me say it. Does it even count? You ask yourself, does it even count?
Again, gotta respect the task.
Next one is being lazy. Being lazy, to me, that's like that's procrastination's nickname. Being lazy, because procrastination actually leads to becoming lazy.
They are cousins, isn't it?
Basically, procrastination is the seed that's planted, and then after 9 months, it gives birth to this baby called laziness. Basically, so laziness, you get to the point where you're just like, you know what? Not even I'll do it later, but I can't be bothered to.
And that's when the list of excuses grows, and you become so unattractive as well. Even to yourself, you become unattractive. You know. I think that's true.
So those are the 9. So those are the 9, and on our next segment, I think we should look into those 9 in a bit more depth, because the key thing is what steps to take, what strategy to use when dealing with procrastination. A lot of us have been affected by it, and some of us are actually embarrassed to admit that. I procrastinate.
Confess, man.
We gotta confess. Why? Because we portrayed ourselves to look a certain way.
Exactly.
And we speak about not procrastinating. Therefore, okay, if you've spoken about it, I can't say that I'm dealing with it because then I look a certain way. No. Worrying too much about your public image is one of the reasons why you will fail in life.
Come on now.
Yeah, when you worry about your public image, that means you're prioritizing the audience, right?
I mean, how do you live?
And this audience that's watching you, how many of them do you actually know in real life, first and foremost?
Thank you.
When you go through a crisis, how many of them are actually going to be there to support you mentally, emotionally, physically, financially? Are they going to put food in your mouth? No. A lot of people have become a victim, prisoners to what the audience want. So that's why their content will have to look a certain way. Now I have to get a certain amount of likes, a certain amount of comments to show that I'm being productive in what I'm doing. That's not the case. It's really not that. So it's about the strategies that we need to use as people to come out of this prison.
That's what it is.
Come out of this, because it's a habit, really. It's a habit, really. So new habits need to be created in order to counteract and break new habits. So that's what we're going to be looking at in our follow-up statement. So with that being said, guys, we thank you so much for tuning in. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here on this Friday evening. So for me to you, I'm Patrick Kinzonzi.
I'm Herman Madimba.
We'll catch you next time on Me vs. Me. Have a good night and have a great weekend. Peace.